In this video of Macbeth, we look at Act 4, Scene 1. Act 4 is the falling action. The story is moving towards an end, and any unknown details are wrapped up. The setting for the scene is a cave, and in the center is a boiling cauldron. The weather is dark and ominous, and there is thunder in the background. The mood is made dark and gloomy with a sense of the supernatural, and this is intensified by the witches' chant, double, double, toil and trouble. The setting, atmosphere, witches' words and actions reflect the chaos in Macbeth's mind as well as the chaos in his kingdom. What happens in Act 4, Scene 1? The witches brew up a spell. Macbeth goes to the witches and rudely orders them to tell him what the future holds for him. He tells them to use their powers to tell him his future. 3 apparitions appear and speak in riddles. Macbeth chooses to believe that he is safe. Macbeth then asks if Banquo's heirs will inherit the crown. He sees another vision of a line of kings who bear the resemblance of Banquo. The witches vanish. Lennox appears and reports that Macduff has fled to England. Macbeth decides to act against Macduff's family. Now we're going to read through the text. Please follow through on screen or in your reader. Turn to the necessary page. Pause this video if you need to find the page. Push play when you are ready to start. Please bear with me as I read through the text and occasionally give you some notes. I'm also not going to do a lot of accents. We find ourselves in a cabin. In the middle, a boiling cauldron. There is thunder. Enter the 3 witches. Thrice the brinded cat hath mewed. Thrice and once the hedge pig whined. Harpier cries, "'Tis time, 'tis time!" Round about the cauldron go, in the poisoned entrails throw. Toad, that under cold stone days and nights has 31 sweltered venom sleeping got, boil thou first in the charmed pot. Double, double toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Fillet of a fenny snake, in the cauldron boil and bake. Eye of newt and toe of frog, wool of bat and tongue of dog, adder's fork and blindworm's sting, lizard's leg and owlet's wing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth, boil and bubble. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Scale of dragon, tooth of wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf, of the ravined salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged in the dark, liver of blaspheming Jew, gall of goat and slips of yew, shivered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tartar's lips, finger of birth-strangled babe, ditch delivered by a drab. Make the gruel thick and slab, and thereto a tiger's cauldron for the ingredients of our cauldron. Double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Cool it with a baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. Notice here that the ingredients added to the potion are not intended for good. Many are poisonous, and it suggests that the witches will poison Macbeth's mind. They will also offer ambiguous language to confuse Macbeth. Think about what the witches have put into the cauldron. In order to perform magic, the witches stir up a mixture of items that are associated with evil. Remember also the words double, double, toil and trouble. The witches are calling on the spirits of darkness to double or to increase the work of distress of mankind. Next into the scene is Hecate. There is sometimes confusion how to pronounce the word Hecate. because the name originates from Greek. Some would say Hecate, others Hecate, or Hecate. Either way, there is no problem, as long as you understand who the character is. Hecate is the goddess of witchcraft, and the last time we dealt with Hecate was in Act 3, Scene 5, where she berated the three witches for meddling with Macbeth without consulting her. "Oh, well done! I commend your pains, and every one shall share in the gains. And now about the cauldron sing, like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in." And at this point, they start singing a song called Black Spirits, after which Hecate exits. On the next slide, you are going to listen to a performance of Black Spirits. This would have been performed by the witches and Hecate. It emphasizes their dark practice of making a concoction using items associated with evil. It adds to the ominous nature of the play. The lyrics are not included in the play but can be found in Shakespeare's songbook. It is not necessary for you to memorize or know the words.
Black spirits and white, red spirits and grey, mingle, mingle, you that mingle may. Titty, tiffin, keep it stiffin, fire drink pucky, make it lucky. Lion robin, you must bob in, sucking and pinching on gladsome and smidgen, round, around, about, all you come running in, all good keep out, round, around, about, all you come running in, all good keep out. Here's the blood of a bat, put in that, here's spirits plain, put in again, the juice of toad, the oil of adder, those will make the young madder, put in names all in red dispatch, here's 3 ounces of the red hen wench, round, about, all you come running in, all good keep out, round, about, all you come running in, all good keep out. Black.
When the singing of the song dies down and Hecate leaves, we continue. "By the pricking of my thumbs, something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks." And in comes Macbeth. "How now, you secret, black and midnight hags? What is it you do?" "A deed without a name." Macbeth is aware that the witches are evil. Macbeth begins making demands from the witches. "I conjure you by that which you profess, however you come to know it, answer me. Though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, and though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blow down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature's gemms tumble all together, even till destruction sicken, answer me to what I ask you." Macbeth shows that he doesn't care what destruction the witches cause. He wants to know the future. And in this, he reveals part of his character. He's selfish and assertive, but also full of pride. "Speak, demand, we'll answer, save thou hadst rather hear it from our mouths, or from our masters. Call him, let me see him." After the witches offer Macbeth the opportunity to hear from their masters, they continue with their spell, pouring things into the pot. "Pour in sow's blood that hath eaten her 9 farrow. Grease that's sweaten from the murderous gibbet throw into the flame. Come, high or low, thyself and office deftly show." Thunder rumbles, and a first apparition appears, an armed head. Tell me, thou unknown power, he knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou naught. Macbeth, 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 beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me, enough. Whatever thou art, for thy good caution, thanks, thou hast helped my fear right. But one more word, he will not be commanded. He has another, more potent than the first. The armored head suggests that Macbeth will face Macduff alone, no supporters. More thunder, a second apparition, a bloody child. Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth! Had I 3 ears, I'd hear thee. Be bloody, bold, and resolute, laugh to scorn the power of man, for none of woman born shall harm Macbeth. Then live, Macduff, what need I fear of thee? But yet I'll make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate, thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. The bloody child represents the innocent blood that Macbeth spills to protect his throne. The words given to Macbeth give him a false sense of security. Thunder again. A third apparition, this time a child crowned with a tree in his hand. What is this that rises like the issue of a king and wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty? Listen, but speak not to it. Be lion-mettled, proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or where conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquished be, until great Birnam wood to high Dunesnane hill shall come against him. The crown represents the peace in Scotland, not under Macbeth's bloody rule, but under a new king. But Macbeth naively feels safe in the knowledge that a moving forest is impossible, and to him this is good news. Ha! That will never be. Who can impress the forest, bid the tree unfix his earth-bound root? Sweet bodements, good, rebellious dead, rise never till the wood of Birnam rise, and our high-palaced Macbeth shall live the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me, if your art can tell so much, shall Banquo's issue ever reign in this kingdom? At first Macbeth is bold. After the first 3 apparitions, he believes himself invincible. Macbeth has demanded to know more. Seek to know no more. I will be satisfied. Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know. Why sinks that cauldron? And what noise is this? There is ceremonial music playing. Show, 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 show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come, like shadows, so depart. And now another apparition appears, a vision of 8 kings, and the last has a mirror in his hand, and they are followed by Banquo. Thou art too much like the spirit of Banquo. Down! Thy crown does smear mine eyeballs, and thy hair, thou other gold-bound brow, is like the first, the third is like the former. Filthy hags! Why do you show me this? A fourth, start eyes! What will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Yet another, a seventh, I'll see no more, and yet the eighth appears, who bears a glass which shows me many more, and some I see, that twofold balls and treble sceptres carry. Horrible sight! Now I see 'tis true, for the blood-bolted Banquo smiles upon me, and points at them for his. What, is this so? A line of kings is seen that descends from Banquo and Fleance, showing us that Banquo and Fleance's descendants will sit upon the throne. The orb and the sceptre mentioned are symbols of royalty. The two orbs referred to talk about the unification of England and Scotland, and the sceptre is a symbol of power. The witches respond to Macbeth's confusion. Aye, sir, all this is so, but why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give a sound, while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say, our duties did his welcome pay. The witches dance, and then vanish. Where are they? Gone? Let this pernicious hour stand accursed in the calendar. Come in without there. Clearly, Macbeth is confused. It seems that he cannot escape his fate, no matter how hard he tries. The witches have left Macbeth alone, and now he calls in Lennox. Lennox enters. What is your grace's will? Saw you the weird sisters? No, my lord. Come they not by you? No, indeed, my lord. Infected be the air whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was it came by? Ironically, Macbeth curses not only them, but also himself. After all, he did trust in what they had to say. 'Tis 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word. Macduff is fled to England. Fled to England? Aye, my good lord. Time, thou anticipatest my dread exploits. The flighty purpose never is overtook unless the deed go with it. From this moment the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand. And even now, to crown my thoughts with acts, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I will surprise, seize upon Fife, give the edge of the sword to his wife, his babes, and all unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool. This deed I'll do before this purpose cool, but no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me, where are they? Macbeth decides to attack Macduff's family, and this senseless act of murder shows that Macbeth has truly become a tyrant. And this brings us to the end of Act 4, Scene 1. Please complete all the questions related to the scene in your literature workbooks.